I don't believe in embalming, by the way. And when I die, if you're still alive, do not embalm me or cremate me. God forbid. Anyway.
Are you leaving that responsibility to me, dear?
No, but there's no one else.
I'm honored.
Around.
The question is,
yes.
After people die, they tend to be kind of cold and stiff.
Yes.
How will I know?
You should be so lucky to even check that out again.
She is a former stage magician and stage hypnotist. He was voted Variety Entertainer of the Year in the Excellence in the Arts Awards. Did we mention they also used to be married to each other? Now they have rejoined forces for a talk radio show? From the East Coast to the West, all across America. Two voices of logic and reason. Live from the entertainment capital of the world, Victoria Wayne and Doug Basham. They are Exes on the Air.
Well, let's have at it, folks. It's another wayward, wicked day here in Las Vegas. If you've got some time, hey, let's talk. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Basham, Doug Basham, to be precise.
And I'm Victoria Wayne, and welcome to another unpredictable edition of Exes on the Air.
Yes, folks, 15 years divorced, no contact whatsoever, now reunited as co-host on the air to bring you your weekly reality radio show, whereupon we take a look at the lighter side of the news. The website is www.exesontheair.com. That's EXS, exesontheair.com. The address to email us on the air or off is show@exesontheair.com. And while you're at our website, look for the links to both our Facebook and Twitter pages. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You know, before we get into anything today, I have to both acknowledge and thank you for the pictures you sent last night.
Oh, yes, finally.
They brought back a lot of memories. I got to show you my favorite. I brought a picture.
Okay. Yeah, I've had them for a long time, and I kept trying to get Troy to, that's a nice picture.
Is that not a great picture?
That is a great picture.
I have to tell you, when we're on the air, there's sometimes we say derogatory things about each other, just in jest.
We do.
Tongue in cheek. Then there's times when we really do disagree, and we kind of get at each other's throats. But I want to say something sincere right here from the get-go.
Yes.
I have never seen a more beautiful woman than the woman that is in this picture and beside me in the studio. That, and I'm being serious, that is movie star / model caliber beauty right there.
Well.
Folks, this is worth going to the website alone. It's exesontheair.com. There's a link for photos. If you click on that, a little submenu will come up that says back then and now. We don't really have a whole lot of now photos.
No.
But we have some back then photos. And I put about 15 of them up there. There's like 5 rows. Go to the second row, first picture on the left, and you'll see the photograph I have right here in front of me.
It's a nice picture. Thank you. And you're being very sweet.
If you can find a more beautiful woman on this planet than the one in that picture,
oh my.
Quite frankly, I'd like her phone number.
Holy moly. You're not so shabby yourself. You.
I pale by comparison.
Well.
When I saw that picture, I felt unworthy.
We made a good couple. That's you were very handsome there.
No, you made a great couple. See, you take me out of the picture, it's still a great couple. You have to look a little lower, but it's still a great couple.
That was taken at a restaurant or at a club in a casino by a photographer, one of those girls with the camera that just walks by.
Oh, okay.
That's where we were like seeing Splash or something at the Riv, I think.
Yeah, but that is an awesome picture.
Well, thank you for all the sweet compliments. That's very nice.
But it's true. Just thought I'd pass that on.
What happened to those days?
Yeah, and another, moving on.
Yes.
In the past on this show, we've had brief discussions on the death penalty, which I have said I'm against primarily because of the human factor. Human beings are a flawed species. I don't necessarily feel comfortable with them in a life and death situation. Well, I found a story this week.
Yes.
That kind of reinforces what I believe, and I'll be curious to get your take on it.
Oh, okay.
I also have, of course, our exes story of the
I
week,
like that. That's always my favorite.
our best line of the week, our worst line of the week, and a new segment I'm going to call This Week in Legitimate Rape. And we will get to all of these stories momentarily.
But before we do that, let me remind you that all of the stories that we do have and that we do discuss here on the show, there are links to the entire story, to the full story on our website. And again, that is exesontheair.com. And our website is also a blog, which means that you can post your comments on any of the news stories that you find here.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, see, that's the problem when you don't have your headphones on. The last part of what you said wasn't picked up because you looked away from the mic and didn't know it because you couldn't hear it.
Oops.
But, however,
yes,
you did get your momentarily clue right.
Yes, I did. My cue, yes.
Not clue,
That's
cue.
because it's circled and highlighted here on the paper.
And it's good because, believe it or not, I actually got an email last week and someone said, even I know the cue is momentarily.
Ooh.
But anyhow, or you can do all that, what she just said, or you can just call us live and give us your take on the air.
We would like that very much. Yes. Good or bad things, it doesn't matter. Our number here at the station
What
is
could possibly be bad?
That's true. 257-KDWN. That's 257-5396-5396. Or, again, you can email us at show@exesontheair.com.
Two things, V.
Yes.
Notice anything different today?
You got a clean shirt on?
This isn't clean.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's not the difference. Well, first of all, the ponytail.
Oh.
I lopped about 4 inches off it.
You did? I didn't notice. I like it.
I noticed your shoes.
Thank you. Yes, you did.
You didn't notice the ponytail.
You get lots of points for that. I didn't, and I like it. It's healthier. It needed a trimming.
Okay.
Good
Secondly,
yes,
I have sunglasses.
Okay.
But there's a reason for it. Have you ever seen the television show CSI, Crime Scene Investigation?
I don't watch it. I've seen it like once.
Well, the original one, the initial one originated here in Las Vegas, and it was just called CSI. Then they had 2 spin-offs, CSI New York, CSI Miami.
Okay.
CSI Miami starred David Caruso, who prior to that starred in NYPD Blue.
Okay.
Now, at the beginning of every CSI Miami show, they would kind of set up the primary murder. They would be investigating and solving that show.
Uh-huh.
And they would get to a point where David Caruso would have a bit of shall we say, a punchline. And what he would do, he would say the first part of his line, then he'd put his sunglasses on, deliver the second part, and immediately walk off the camera. As soon as he delivered the punchline, the theme song for the show started.
Okay.
The theme song happened to be a Who song called Won't Get Fooled Again. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Jim,
Okay.
the CSI example.
You don't fall 3 stories, get up and run away.
You do?
Put sunglasses on.
Got something to hide.
Now, did you ever catch that?
No, certainly not.
That was my favorite part of the whole CSI Miami show, when David Caruso would put the sunglasses on and deliver a punchline.
Okay.
So I thought, because we're being videotaped, we should maybe add a few visual elements to the show.
Okay.
Like maybe me rubbing your feet sometime.
Yeah, you can rub my feet anytime you want.
I know, but can I do it in front of the camera?
Well, it's kind of private, you know.
Will you react the same?
I don't know. I'm not.
If not, there's no point.
I'm not good in front of the camera.
We're going to have to put that to the test. I tend to think you'd probably be fine.
You think so?
Yeah, give me your foot. No? Okay, we'll leave that. All right, so we'll go with the visual I had planned.
I know where you're going with it, yes. No one else does, but
I hadn't planned on doing your feet. Although, I must say, I did them before the show.
Yes, you did. They're still tingling, still happy and tingling.
Haven't lost it.
We have a listener today, actually. Do you know who Terry Stokes is?
Yes.
You do?
He's a hypnotist.
He is the best hypnotist. Well, he called me out of the blue yesterday. I was so surprised just to say hello. I hadn't seen him or heard from him in years, but he is the absolute best hypnotist. You know, I used to do stage hypnosis for a long time here in town, and Terry's done it way longer than I have. I learned so much from him, but there's no one better. And I mean that From the heart of my bottom.
I believe Terry has toured in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, which is where I would have first heard of him.
I'm sure he has toured.
I think he's been all over North America.
He's been all over
the world.
All over the world. No, but there's no one better. I don't know where he's performing right now, but he's always on the Strip somewhere. He's always working.
I think I saw him last night in front of Bally's.
In front of Bally's.
Yeah.
But if you ever, anyone listening, if you ever get a chance to see the Terry Stokes Hypnosis show, it is truly, you can't see a better one.
Okay. So anyhow, back to my visual.
Okay.
At certain times when I feel the punchline is worthy,
yes,
I am going to do the first part of it, don my David Caruso glasses, and I got the same kind he wears on CSI Miami.
Okay.
And then do the final punchline, which will go right into the music. Just for a bit of a visual, something different.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Okay.
But see, you're going to have to wear headphones to hear all this.
Oh, yes. I have them. You know, I have to buy new ones. They are too tight. They are too confining. I get a headache. I need to get new ones. I don't like them. What?
Those headphones do not give you a headache.
They do. There's something around tight, and it's like constraining. And
okay. Now, because the people at home that are listening live on the radio won't know when this is going on,
yes,
I'm going to have to tell them. I'm going to have to say, as I'm putting on the sunglasses, put sunglasses on. Now, see, this is going to be a team effort, because after I deliver the second part of the punchline, it's going to be up to Jimbo over there to hit the music.
Yes.
And see, I can't cue him because it'll destroy the whole Caruso effect of delivering the punchline and walking out of the camera shot.
Okay.
So I thought maybe we better have a quick practice.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, we'll just take a story. I picked this up this week. We'll call it a dress rehearsal.
Sounds good.
There was an air show in Davenport, Iowa. There was an accident, and this Czech plane, meaning the plane was built in Czechoslovakia, went down, it crashed, the pilot was killed.
Okay.
So, to put this, to try our new thing,
yes,
apparently, when you're flying a Czech plane, sometimes you execute the landing, puts glasses on. Sometimes the landing executes you. Now, did you see how that all worked? Jim was spot on, perfect. He could not have been any better.
All right.
Wow.
Yes, that's true.
I had like 37 rehearsals I was going to do. I think one more, and we're probably okay.
All right.
Ready, Jim? That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I just hope he had insurance. Puts glasses on, so his wife gets a nice check to tide her over.
Oh. Okay.
Now, see, Jim was anticipating there. As soon as he heard the word check, he was on the music.
Yes. Jim did very well.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're going to try every now and then. You'll never know when I'm going to do it.
Oh, I like mysteries.
I just thought I would prepare you.
Okay.
In case I feel the need to do it.
Okay.
Death penalty.
Yes.
Do you remember the Drew Peterson case? He was a fella, ex-cop, kind of like the male version of the Black Widow. His third wife was found dead in a bathtub. Her death was ruled an accident until Peterson's fourth wife disappeared. And she still hasn't been found and is presumed dead. They exhumed his third wife's body,
yes,
determined it was murder, not an accident.
Right.
Well, this week, a jury found him guilty of murdering his third wife.
Right. I'm aware of that, yes.
But listen to this bit from this ABC News story on the verdict. Former Illinois cop Drew Peterson was found guilty today of killing his wife Kathleen Savio and making it look like an accident in 2004. The jury returned a verdict after 2 days of deliberations, just an hour after stopping discussions to ask the judge the meaning of the word unanimous. Well, at least we know he was tried by a jury of his peers. They were probably afraid of possible ramifications of their verdict, and they were inquiring to find out if they could remain unanimous after the verdict was given.
Yes.
But do you see my point? Do you really want to give people like this the task of sentencing someone to death? If they don't know what unanimous means, what are the odds they know what beyond a reasonable doubt means?
Right, I understand.
I mean, I think it is disturbing that people's lives are in the hands of people barely smart enough to find the courtroom. And I just hope I don't end up in front of a jury.
I understand what you're saying, and you have a valid point. But when you take the redheaded guy who in the movie theater, just put him to sleep. There was no doubt. It's not. You don't need a jury to determine was he innocent or guilty. Just put the guy humanely to sleep.
Well, I understand that he's guilty, but you have to have a procedure or a process that works for all. You can't say, well, witnesses saw you do it, so we're just going to put you out of your misery today. You have to follow the court process.
Well,
you have to give him a trial.
Okay. I don't want to be the one that makes those decisions. Those are very, very serious decisions, and that's why I am not running for office, nor are you. And it's a lot of responsibility, and I wouldn't want to make that decision. But I certainly think that the movie theater guy should be put down.
To what end?
To what end?
Yeah, I mean, what does that solve? First of all, if he's sentenced to death, the appeals process goes on for years and actually costs more money than if you just let him sit in a cell for
It's
years.
a flawed system all in all, But I certainly believe in the death penalty. I do, in certain situations, I do.
Well, I thought the most ironic part, if you saw any of this Drew Peterson's trial, he always had this smirk on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, I got away with it twice, and you're not going to catch me. He's finally brought down by 12 people who couldn't find their butt cheeks using both hands. What does unanimous mean? It means everyone but you, dumbass. I mean, anyhow, that was my point.
When you first said Drew Peterson, my mind went to the other Peterson.
Oh, Scott Peterson.
Yeah, that's what I initially was thinking.
And what's interesting is that his wife's name was Lacey.
Yes.
Drew Peterson's wife's name was Stacy, his fourth wife.
How weird.
I know.
That's very weird.
So, don't trust anyone with the last name of Peterson.
Yeah.
Now, last week,
we
had a bit of fun. Not too much, because it was old news and we couldn't belabor the point. But we had fun with Congressman Todd Aiken's rape comments.
Yeah, so you had fun, yes.
Oh, I thought we had fun.
Well, okay, we had fun.
Are you telling me now it wasn't a shared experience?
I think you had more fun than I did, but go on.
Well, it's going to be even more painful this week.
Okay.
No. I've been thinking about it a little more, and I came up with a comment and a question.
Yes.
And my comment is, I think Aiken should be true to himself and his beliefs and carry his candidacy to term, even if it endangers the life of the Republican Party. What do you think?
Very funny. Very, very funny.
My question is, if he won't abort his campaign like everyone's asking him to...
Yes, no pun intended.
Will we be able to say he is guilty of legitimately raping the election?
Ooh, that's bad. Okay, go on.
Well, you notice, I didn't think it was good enough for the sunglasses.
That's very, very good. And we didn't really mean, Douglas did not mean that anyone with the name Peterson is a bad person. I think we should just acknowledge that.
I didn't? No, but I said you should be at least wary.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. There's, I'm sure, a lot of very good...
Name one. Do you know a good Peterson?
No, but that's a
see, my point's made.
Actually, I have a girlfriend with that last name.
Well, really?
Yeah, Bill.
Bill, okay. Well,
Bill
whatever.
Peterson.
Now, we had a caller last week.
From CSI.
Randy.
Okay.
Our caller from last week. The one who surmised that
Randy was charming, yes.
Well,
I remember.
of course, he said you were hot.
Yes.
Low bar there. I mean, if anybody calls up and says, you're handsome, I like him automatically, too. No matter what his name is. Anyhow, Randy said that maybe Aiken was referring to women who falsely accused men of rape when he said legitimate rape.
Right. Do you have another song to share with us?
No.
That was a good song last week.
But my point is, that's not rape. That's just a false accusation.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that maybe we are treading a slippery slope when we feel the need to qualify rape and put either the word legitimate, which everybody jumped on him for. However, at the Republican convention, they adapted language and they didn't use the word legitimate. They used the word forcible. And I'm wondering why. And I have a couple stories here that will maybe show you why I'm questioning this need to modify the term rape.
Okay.
Rape is rape. Don't you agree with that?
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Okay.
But everything goes political with you. Everything's, go on.
Here's what happened. Story number one.
Yes.
This week in legitimate rape, story number one. Kentucky. 2 16-year-old male Catholic high school athletes, 1 16-year-old girl. They're at a party.
Yeah.
The girl is drunker than a skunk. This is what the boys admitted to. They said they lifted her skirt, pulled down her pants, penetrated her vagina with their fingers. Now, if you look at the federal definition of rape, the penetration, no matter how slight, with any body part or object.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Well, I'm just finding I had to go to another page. I have to find myself over here.
Sorry.
Okay? They said, quote, "We thought it would be funny, but it wasn't." They said they took pictures, they put the girl's clothes back on, had to carry her up to a room. And numerous other teenagers said they saw the picture. And, you know, people have taken their lives for less. Now, the teen boys pleaded guilty to charges of first-degree sexual abuse, a felony, and misdemeanor voyeurism, which kind of begs the question, why would there even be a plea bargain in a case like this? But what was their punishment as a result of this plea bargain? 1 week of volunteer work. Now, get this. The attorney, the prosecuting attorney, when she first complained, he said, "Get over it, see a therapist. Jail is for real rapists or legitimate rapists."
Okay, yes.
So, you see my point? Why do we have to qualify? Rape is rape.
Yeah.
Do we need somebody saying, well, we just gave him community service because it's real rapists that belong in jail?
Well, but there's a lot of stories things that go to court that are just insane, and you never know how it's going to turn out. I mean, what was that story about the woman tripped over her own kid in a furniture store or a grocery store or some store and then sued them? She fell over her own kid, tripped her because he was running around the store, and she sued the store and won. I mean, there's a lot of, that's a story somewhere, I don't know that I heard, but I mean, that a factual event that took place in our court system, and you never know what the outcome's going to be, and there's crazy situations. I mean...
and by the way, this prosecuting attorney,
yes,
he's an alumnus at the school these two teenage boys go to. They happen to be athletes on the football team.
Oh, well.
So he didn't want to give them any serious punishment because they wouldn't be able to play.
Sure.
And I'm saying this girl was traumatized.
Sure.
Does it matter that she was drunk and almost unconscious?
No, it does not matter. No, of course not.
1 week of community service, picking up trash. Hey, you can have fun with Barbie, just don't rape her. You'll have to do 1 week of picking up trash.
Yeah, well, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Okay.
I mean, do you think I wouldn't agree with you?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know one. Well, actually, I kind of thought you would.
Okay.
Okay. This week in rape, number 2.
Yes.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
Okay. We finished that one.
Okay, good. We're moving on.
Happened in Texas.
Okay.
Story involves a 20-year-old male and 19 other men who were found guilty of brutally gang raping an 11-year-old girl. But the story says the small Texas community of Cleveland remains divided on the rape.
Why?
Some residents have suggested the girl was partly responsible because of her appearance.
The 11-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some suggested that the girl was partly responsible because they say she wore makeup and looked older than her age and wasn't properly supervised by her parents.
There's got to be a lot more to the story. That's too insane. There's got to be a lot more to the story.
Well, getting back to the 20-year-old male, the first one convicted in the case.
Yes.
He confessed.
Yes.
There was DNA evidence.
Okay.
The girl testified, and there was a video of her being assaulted. But the story says, but others still have not been swayed. And listen to what this one lady had to say. This is a lady, Carolyn King, 59, who lives down the street, insisted Friday that people still don't know the facts of the case. And listen to what she said.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is a woman talking. She said, quote, "It's not as bad as what they're saying. Nobody tied the girl up," end quote. So it wasn't legitimate rape. She wasn't. Do you see what I mean?
No, yeah, but there's still has to be a lot more to that story. That doesn't make any sense. I can't even bear to think of it. That's just horrific. So I wonder what we don't know about it.
Well, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
There was a direct quote from a lady that lives there in Texas.
Okay. That's horrible. Okay.
Oh, I agree. Now, this week in legitimate rape story number 3.
Yes.
This took place in Turkey.
Okay.
One young lady decided she wasn't going to wait around while a bunch of old white men in government attached a modifier to the word rape. 26-year-old woman, she's raped by a woman, becomes pregnant, which tells you it wasn't legitimate.
Say that again?
She's 26 years old.
Yes.
She was raped.
Yes.
She became pregnant.
Oh, okay.
From the rape.
Yes.
Which shows you she wanted it.
Okay.
Because her body didn't shut down that whole process. You understand?
Okay.
The rapist also took pictures of her and was blackmailing her, had been blackmailing her for months. She wanted an abortion. The government said no. So you know what she did? She shot her rapist 10 times, including several times in his private parts, stabbed him in the stomach after he was shot, decapitated him, and threw his head into the village square. I guess the headline for the story could have read,
I can't even laugh at that. Okay.
Woman gives head to entire village. But gee, was the stabbing really necessary? I mean, the only thing this gal didn't do was set the guy on fire.
She decapitated. How did she do that? How did she cut his head off?
Well, I don't know the exact knife she used, but I'm guessing that's probably what it was.
Shooting him in the private parts is good enough. Good enough.
And she fully admitted it to the police.
Yeah.
In fact, she said when the police arrested her, she said, "This is the head of the one who toyed with my honor." I guess that's her way of shutting this whole thing down. Not that I'm saying we should take matters into our own hands.
No.
But this was Turkey.
Yes, it's a shame. That's horrible. This guy ruined her life.
Anyhow, folks, we are at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause, as they say. We'll be back on the other side, hopefully with you. 257-KDWN is the number. That's 257-5396. Back after this. Stay with us.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. My name is Doug Basham, along with my co-host and ex-wife, Victoria Wayne, which is probably why the show is called Exes on the Air.
You know what I'm going to do Monday?
What are you going to do Monday?
I'm going to get a colonic.
Well, I was going to suggest that that's probably one of the things you should put at the top of your list.
I mean, it actually is. And actually, Russ wants to go with me and videotape it and put it on YouTube. I don't think that's going to happen, but he suggested that.
You are one sick dude. One sick dude. By the way, the website is www.exesontheair.com. The address to email us on the air or off is show@exesontheair.com. If you had just joined us, we are discussing a new segment we call This Week in Legitimate Rape. First of all, we had a couple teenagers who raped a 16-year-old and were given a week of basically community service. Why? Because real rapists belong in jail. They were just kids horsing around.
Well, they were on the football team, and they didn't want to take them off the football team.
Then we talked about one that happened in Texas, and the residents are not really sold on it because, hey, after all, they didn't tie the girl up.
Oh, it's horrible. These are horrible stories.
Then we had one that took place in Turkey where the woman said, "To heck with it, I'll take care of it myself." She shot her rapist several times, decapitated him, and threw his head in the village square.
Yeah, that's sad, too, because it ruined her life.
Absolutely.
Yes. You're going to put the sunglasses on?
That's right. Jim, I'm guessing that maybe this is what we could call a legitimate decapitation. Now, I noticed you donned your sunglasses, too. Well, leave them out.
We'll do it together?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a joint project.
It's hot in here.
Perfect, Jim. Absolutely perfect. Okay, final story.
Yes.
In this segment of This Week in Legitimate Rape. This took place last summer. And a drunk Arizona cop went to a bar. Actually, the rape took place last summer. The story just came to a head this week.
Okay.
Again, no pun intended. A drunk Arizona cop went to a bar, flashed his badge to avoid paying a cover charge, walked up behind a woman, put his hand up her skirt, and ran his fingers over her genitals. That's pretty close to the federal definition of rape.
Well,
if there was even slight penetration.
He violated her, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
A jury convicted him of sexual abuse, a felony with a maximum sentence of 2.5 years in prison, and he was fired from the police force.
Okay.
However,
yes,
Arizona trial judge Jacqueline Hatch, who was appointed to the bench by Governor Jan Brewer, decided that Evans' actions didn't warrant jail time. So she sentenced him to probation and 2 weeks of community service, and he will not have to register as a sex offender. So she went easy on the cop. Here's what she said to the victim in court.
Yes.
Quote, "Bad things can happen in bars. Other people might be more intoxicated than you are," obviously referring to the cop. And then she said, "If you wouldn't have been there that night, none of this would have happened to you." End quote. No, I'm not saying this is your fault, but it's your fault.
But this wasn't as bad as the other stories you've just mentioned. This is why didn't she?
The jury finds him guilty. She sentences him to 2 weeks of community service and berates the victim and says, "Well, you were drunk. You were there. You were drunk.
Well, that's
bad
horrible.
things happened.
That's wrong.
If you hadn't been there." I mean, not that I'm wishing any harm on this judge, but I have this visualization of someone sneaking up behind her and doing her in. And as she's taking her last breath, saying, "If you hadn't been walking to your car tonight, this wouldn't have happened to you."
Remember the Showboat Casino?
Yes.
One time I was walking through that casino. It was in the winter. I had a coat on. I was with Matthew. I was with an ex-boyfriend and present boyfriend at the time. And these two guys...
We got that.
As Matthew and I were walking in one direction, these two men were walking in the other direction. And one guy just turned around and reached his hand up under my dress and grabbed me in a second and then released me and kept walking.
How many times am I going to have to apologize for that? I told you I was sorry.
I was out of my mind. I could feel the disgusting heat of his hand for like a month. It was, and it happened in a second in public, and there was just no. What were you going to do? He was insane to do that. There was, and Matthew wanted. I had to pull Matthew back because Matthew wanted to chase after him. And what? I mean, it was just. It's horrible. Horrible things do happen.
Now, had you decided to press charges,
I would have pressed charges,
and it went to court. How would you feel if the judge said, "Well, bad things happen when you're walking in parking lots"? If you hadn't been there that night.
I was in the casino itself.
Okay, bad things happen in casino. If you hadn't gone to the casino that night,
terrible.
It wouldn't have happened.
No doubt.
If those people hadn't gone to see the Batman movie in Aurora, Colorado.
Horrible, that's horrible.
Wouldn't have happened. If they hadn't been in the World Trade Center that day, this never would have happened.
Absolutely. We actually have a call on the line.
Oh, we actually have two.
I know.
Son of a gun.
Nice.
We're going to break our record. Well, let's head to the phones right now.
Yes.
We'll start off with Gracie. You're first up on the air, and thanks for calling.
It's my pleasure. Now, as a grandmother with a whole load of grandchildren, right, I have to tell you that what I would do if anything like that happened, and this is what I want to and I am going to go to meetings, and I am going to press this, so you will be hearing about this. I say we get the guys who rape these babies, right, under 18. I'm going to go under 18, right? We hang them by their balls in the middle of town until they die. How's that? And I guarantee you that the amount of rates will drop immediately.
Yeah, some drastic measures.
They will by that person, that's for sure.
Okay, everybody's afraid of Romney, right? Because they think that he's Mr. Goody-Goody, right? But I'm going to be speaking up because I'm sick and tired of this baloney. Yeah, I drive every morning, Monday to Friday, to take my babies to school. I pick them up because I'm afraid to have them wait at their mother's work, so they have to go to that center where kids go. I don't want that for my grandchildren because I'm even afraid of the people out of there watching
daycare. Yes,
and I'm getting so neurotic because nobody is doing anything. And I actually went to church, and the priest told me God is all forgiving. Well, I don't know what God he's praying to, but it isn't the one that I'm praying to. I say we have to hold these people accountable.
Let me ask you a question, Gracie, before you go. How do you feel about this need by some people to attach qualifiers to the word rape, as in either legitimate, forcible, she wasn't tied down, they were only teenagers, etc., shouldn't have been there, all of this? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that every rate that's why I said under 18. We got to make our kids grow up. We got to educate them. They can't have this on their mind. And the mothers and the grandmothers, because tomorrow's Grandmother's Day, I already got a basket of fruit for my grandson, and he's probably listening. And I want you to know that, no, we have to hold people accountable. I don't care. If you take a life, you go. I don't want to feed you. You are a waste of money. I don't want you to have 10,000 appeals. We give you a thing. We have a court. We go to court, and if you do it, that's it. We don't have to appeal the case. We have to make sure that what we're doing is good for the person, right? So I don't want innocent people dying, but I also don't want to feed you.
Right. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I agree with that.
And until we do something about this stuff is going to continue. We don't do nothing to people. Some of these people are better off in jail, and they know it. They're out on the streets. They're bumming around, and they can grab a kid and go to. And what do? We feed them, give them TV, worry about them not eating the right food. Some was that said he was getting sick on the food in jail. Well, he was lucky we were feeding him, because if I was running that jail, I would be taking the dog poo and putting it on the dish. So that's what we got to do. We got to make jail look like jail, not like the clubhouse.
Okay, Gracie, we want to thank you for checking in. We appreciate it. 257-KDWN is our number. That's 257-5396. If you have a take on this, give us a call.
Yes.
Randy, you are next up. Hello, sir.
Hello. After that call there, I think I need a colonic too. Is there a 2-for-1 place?
I'm going to talk next week about my colonic.
Oh, boy, can't wait.
I'm eager to see how it goes.
I'm tuning in for that one. It's a serious question, but, if the truth be told, if no really meant no, half American men would be virgins.
I don't know if I really want to go there, Randy. I mean, I know you were saying it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I'm not sure rape is something we should trivialize, because I think our politicians are doing a good enough job of that by themselves. Randy, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about this need to qualify it with either legitimate rape or forcible rape? Don't you just think rape is rape, period?
Well, I mean, that's like saying, if you steal a bag of, potato chips, or you steal $1 million worth of diamonds. Well, I mean, it's still theft. But
yeah, Randy, but there's no moral equivalency between stealing potato chips and raping 11-year-old girls. I mean, let's stay on the topic.
Yeah, I didn't mean an 11-year-old girl. You're taking it specifically there.
Well, no, it's just that you went in an area that I don't think is either appropriate or applies.
But Douglas, everybody agrees that was a foolish statement by,
No, they don't, because the same week he said it, they incorporated language into their party platform that says the word forcible has to be used before the word rape. They don't all agree that it's nonsense.
Well, what does that mean? Of course rape is forcible. What does that mean? I don't know.
What do you mean it's forcible? What happened? Well, this girl that was passed out, that wasn't forcible. She was unconscious.
Well, that's still rape.
So she's not, well, okay, but under these new guidelines, it wouldn't be. And that's what I'm saying is wrong. And I'm asking, why are we doing it, and why do people not have a problem with it?
Hey.
I would like to hear from women. Are you okay with them saying, well, it has to be forcible rape, legitimate rape, tie-down rape?
Okay, on that note, I'm going to go, but I'm going to tune in for the colonic update next week.
I just may catch that one myself, Randy.
Is that a forcible colonic? By the way, no. Okay.
I don't know, but it's definitely legitimate.
Okay, thank you.
And they probably won't have to tie her down. Anyhow, 257 KDWN is the number. That's 257-5396. We're discussing, amongst other things, the issue of legitimate rape. It wasn't the legitimate rape that caused all the commotion. It was him saying that a woman's body could shut things down. That was the one that everybody got up in arms about.
I know, and that's what I'm saying is just so absurd. You just have to, that's...
Right, but that one we can just dismiss and call him an idiot, an ill-informed idiot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But everybody doesn't disagree with his terminology, legitimate. Okay. They just want to change it to forcible. And I say, okay, so if you're being raped, you fear for your life. Your rapist tells you, if you move, I will kill you, so you don't resist, which the police will tell you is probably the better choice. You're not raped because it wasn't forcible?
I missed that. The police will tell you it's better not to fight back and just...
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to enrage him so that maybe he feels he has to put his hands around your throat to subdue you?
Don't even want to think about it.
Right. Okay. I know. It's not a pleasant topic.
Yes.
But I don't understand why there isn't more outrage over one party's particular obsession with redefining rape. Rape should be rape. And why aren't people saying, I don't care if you're the party I support? You're wrong. You don't need to attach qualifiers. You're wrong. But have you heard anyone said that? I haven't.
Well, I haven't paid attention to that.
Randy didn't.
But the thing is, of course, and people have, their favorite political party and disagree with many things in it. It doesn't mean that you believe in that every issue that party, has to offer.
Right. So if you disagree with an issue, why not take issue?
I'm sure somebody has somewhere. I actually have not heard about it, but. There's so many more important things going on in our world right now. I mean, not that this is not important, but you understand what I'm saying.
So, spilling potato chips?
No, the national debt.
No, my only point is, rape is a difficult thing for people to report. These stories we've gone over today will make it even more difficult. Do you want to report a rape in a city where a judge has a reputation saying, well, if you hadn't been there, it wouldn't happen?
Yeah, well, that's...
Shouldn't have been drinking.
That's... horrific.
Good.
That's horrific. What was it? There was a guy that about court cases that are just unbelievable about the verdict. There was some guy was stealing somebody's hubcap or something, and then the driver didn't know. The man got into the car in his own parking lot and backed up over the guy's hand, and the guy sued him while he was stealing the hubcap. And he goes, "Well, I didn't know someone was stealing my hubcap," and he lost the case. The guy that got his hand run over, the thief, actually won. So I'm just saying that there are so many crazy verdicts that I don't know.
Right, but as far as the guy getting his hand run over,
Yeah, but he won. He won the case. Anyway.
Well, I would say the same. I would have the same response to that you had earlier. There's got to be more to that story. If you're ripping somebody off and you get your hand run over, I don't see your basis for winning a case.
I don't know. I can't imagine a judge saying that to this girl. Well, if you hadn't been in the bar, I can't imagine that either. There's got to be more to the story.
Not that I read.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did read more about that judge. Apparently, she put her own daughter in jail for something. So she's a bit of a hard nut, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I could find out and tell you what she did.
Let's move on.
You want to move on?
You any pictures? I want to see a picture.
Oh, well, I don't know if I have a lot of pictures this week. I got, what are you doing?
I'm playing.
Checking out the ponytail?
Yeah.
You like it better shorter, huh?
I do. Well, it's healthier looking, too, yes.
Okay. Well, I have a story here either on a Japanese charity breast squeeze or a San Francisco policeman who photographs women in the nude in his spare time. He's very legitimate. He invites them to bring a friend or, someone that they'll feel comfortable with.
Yes.
And he's been fired.
Fired for what?
Fired for doing this in his own time because he's a policeman and they feel that he is denigrating his position.
Oh, Well, they have all these rules, and they go through a lot of training, and I don't know.
Do you think the policeman should be held to a different standard? I mean, as long as he's not doing it on, when he's on duty, and the girls aren't underage, and they're not being abused, which they're not. I'll show you some examples of his work here. You want pictures? Yes.
Holy cow. Wait a second. Oh, my. Really? These are his pictures?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. No, he should. This is nothing wrong with these pictures.
He basically specializes in taking shots of women posing as mythical creatures.
Oh, there's
voluptuous vampires.
Gorgeous.
Nude nymphs.
Look at the mermaid.
And sultry sorceresses.
Oh, it is just art. I like the lizard or whatever it is, Medusa.
I know.
Oh, is that beautiful?
And all the bad stuff you read about cops nowadays, they're going to suspend them for taking some photographs.
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, kids in high school text each other more graphic photos than these on a daily basis.
Yes, I think I've texted you some pictures more graphic.
Last night, you texted me pictures more graphic than this. Actually, I missed those. Are you sure you sent them? Everything I got, you were fully clothed.
Yes, no.
I was disappointed.
Just kidding, yes.
So, maybe I expect some more graphic ones tonight?
No, you cannot.
You answered that a little fast. Don't you want to take some time to mull it over?
I don't. I don't.
Wow, that sounds pretty definite. Okay, I'll have to send you some of me. No, I think that they're going way overboard with this cop. I say leave him alone. Like you say, he does art.
Yeah, that's art.
I actually like that one.
It's beautiful.
The fire one.
The pictures they're gorgeous. Mm-hmm. But it's not...
The bottom line, the man is bringing more boobies into the world. Leave him alone.
But they're not even just pictures of girls' breasts. It's pictures of art. They're lizards and... You
don't need to turn that around. I'll email him the actual pictures.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just showing him.
Oh, I see. Okay, here, I'll hold him up for Jim, too. So do you think, forget the story.
Yes.
Should law enforcement be held to a different standard?
I don't know. I've never given it any thought.
Maybe varies on the issue?
Yes, I guess so.
This one I don't have a problem with.
Yes.
Okay. So we're on the same page.
Yes.
Wow. So far, I don't think we've really disagreed on much today.
Yes, that's weird, huh?
Well, maybe a little bit with the death penalty, but...
yes, that's true.
But, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Okay. A charity breast squeeze took place last weekend in Tokyo as part of the Erotica Will Save the World event, which is a 24-hour live-streamed fundraising event. Men and women come out, they enjoy 2 days of erotically charged festivities. Some of the areas had stalls selling goods and DVDs. Other areas had fun events such as a masturbation marathon. I thought the Republican convention was in Florida. Anyhow, just a joke.
Yeah.
The most popular attraction, however, was the breast fundraiser, which encouraged people to donate to charity. How did it do that? If you donated some money, you're allowed to squeeze the breasts of one of 10 lovely adult video actresses. All money raised was donated to Stop AIDS, a charity aimed at promoting the awareness, treatment, and preventions of AIDS.
Okay.
I think this is absolutely marvelous. Fun bags for fundraising. I mean, this is the greatest idea ever. And sometimes I'm a little more conservative when it comes to adopting various aspects of other cultures, but come on, in the interest of charity, V, we need this here. Don't you think this is a better idea than wearing pink for breast cancer? I mean, we could have a breast squeezing fundraiser. We could call it Cantaloupes for Cancer.
Oh.
That was almost worthy of the...
the sunglasses, no.
I might have a sunglasses one coming up here, We could have one called Tatas for Tuberculosis. Think of the possibilities, all the medical functions that you could use this for.
Yes.
Melons for melanoma.
Ooh.
Or malaria. What? Basketball. Oh, no. Sports organizations could use it, too, to raise money.
Uh-huh.
For example, basketball.
You would like to host one of these charity funds, wouldn't you?
You think? You think? I would like to be the promoter of it.
I bet.
Basketball. Boobsters for hoopsters. See, it has a lot of possibilities, V. We could even use it. Talk show host.
Yeah, we should be on 2 hours a day and not just one.
Tatas for talkers. But no, what do you think? I mean, I don't think there's enough words to convey how brilliant an idea this is. A breast squeeze charity. I mean, once again, Japan has beaten the U.S. to the punch. What happened to our innovative spirit here in America?
Well, what about a penis squeeze charity?
Hey, I'd volunteer for that too.
I bet.
For $1, you can squeeze my penis.
Oh.
Really? In fact, I actually have pictures.
Oh, you have pictures?
Yeah, you know what's amazing? This is of the breast squeeze.
Yes.
You know what's amazing?
Is that this guy is blurred out.
They got the guy that's doing the squeezing pixelated out, but the girl's standing there like, here I am. Isn't that funny? You know why that is?
Why?
I wouldn't sign the release form, so they had to pixelate me out. And here's one of the other models that was in this breast squeeze. That girl is 43 years old.
Really?
You believe it? Yeah.
Seriously?
43.
Wow, she looks 16.
I know.
I mean, she doesn't look 20. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's something else. No, I'm very open-minded, so,
Rock bands could use it. Knockers for rockers.
Do you stay up all night long making these things up?
Actually, I stayed up all night last night putting those pictures you sent me on the internet.
Oh, yes.
Which I should remind you again, folks. The website is www.exsontheair.com. There's a link on there that says photos. It opens up into a little submenu that says back then and now. Click on back then, and you will see all the photographs I uploaded last night that you were kind enough to email.
I sent them to you like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I went out last night. And
I know.
I had just gotten home. I went to see Gary Norsegian.
Did you notice at 4 o'clock in the morning they were all up there?
Yes, I did. I would gone to bed by then, but this morning I noticed. But I went to see Gary Norsegian do close-up magic at a Mexican restaurant, and he is just fantastic.
Huh. Well, that's good to hear.
Yes.
And on that note, we should almost take our leave.
Okay.
I suppose we'll do it again next week.
Too soon, yes. You'll hear about my colonic.
Oh, that's going to be the hot topic next week, huh?
Yes.
Gosh, I can't wait.
I don't think I'll have pictures.
You're not going to make an ass of yourself, are you? Ooh. I know. It was the obvious punchline. Hey, folks, we got to run. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. See you next week. Until then, take care.